Okay, we'll just wait a moment for everyone to take their places. If you all like to take a seat, and let us take you on a journey with an Outlander experience.
Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to the sky. Billow and breeze, islands and seas, mountains of rain and sun. All that was good, all that was fair, all that was meek is gone.
Okay, now I've got you interested. Welcome to Fraser Tools. Fraser Tools is a family-run business by myself, Amanda,
Matilda,
and Kerry. Hi.
and at Fraser Tools, we pride ourselves on getting tourists to be in the heart of the TV show. Okay, so throughout our presentation, we're going to discuss in depth the specific areas in regards to our 4-day experience. So we'll be discussing destination management organisations, which will be run by Matilda, our niche tourist consumer group, so Outlander tourism, screen tourism. Also an overview of the destination that Kerry will explain as well later on in the presentation. We'll discuss existing tourism products, so what's currently there and what other areas that we can improve on. Kerry has composed a 4-day itinerary that she'll be able to discuss and run through at depth with you here today. We'll also discuss the economic, socio-cultural and environmental impacts on travelling to our choice of destination. Matilda will also discuss the methods of evaluation, so for destination management organisations like everyone here today, and then obviously references.
So first of all, thank you, Amanda. I'd just like to thank you all for coming out here today and giving up a piece of your time to sit here with us. So what we'd like for you today is to help provide us and our tourists with experiencing an authentic Outlander experience throughout Scotland. So the reason we do have you here is to gain knowledge and insight into our marketing strategies and destinations to draw more tourists in. So we are a part of a niche tourist consumer group. So why not come on tour with Fraser Tours, where you can immerse yourselves in Claire and Jamie's 1700 Scotland. So the target market for our 4-day niche tour is those wishing to be immersed in the Outlander tourism. So we start off with tourists and fans who want to travel to these sites and want to explore the sites that are associated with this series. They're also able to immerse themselves in their own reality of the story by engaging with its people, the culture, the environment and also the food. It also brings a deeper meaning to their fandom, and they're all usually members of various online social media or fan groups as well. Most fans conduct research about their own Outlander experience, but we're hoping to give them a more in-depth research without them having to go searching for hours on end. Travellers that are wishing to share their experience with other fans can also come onto this tour, which helps them find like-minded people like themselves who are very much involved with the Outlander TV series. The majority of the Outlander tourists usually visit from USA, Australia and China, and they also want to travel to inspire because they are inspired to learn about the Scotland history. Sorry, Kerry.
So with Fraser Tools, we're looking to capitalise on the Outlander effect that it's been having, bringing tourism to Scotland. You can see here from this word cloud that Outlander is the #1 TV series currently bringing tourists to Scotland. Over the past 5 years, from 2013 to 2017, that we've seen almost a double of visitors to locations used in the filming of Outlander. Okay, so we're looking at Outlander tourism a significant part of the screen tourism area. And within Outlander tourism, they'll also experience elements of photography, nature, culinary, cultural and historical tourism as they explore that fully immersive tour with us.
Okay, destination overview. The country we're travelling to is Scotland. The reason for it is because Outlander is actually filmed in places of Scotland. Scotland's known for its mountain peaks, its wildlife, also the whisky distilleries and traditional foods. It's rich in history, rich in culture, and if you see bagpipes, kilts or tartans, it generally reflects back to Scotland as well. Kerry will actually discuss in length in her 4-day itinerary the areas that we'll be travelling to. So you've got Edinburgh, which is the capital of Scotland. We'll be travelling to Kinloch Rannoch, Cairngorms National Park, and also Stirlingshire as well. So each location that we're travelling to is rich in history, rich in culture, and also we can involve the locals so tourists can live like a local. Okay, existing tourism products. So there's two categories of existing tourism products. You've got total tourist and specific tourist products as well. So all products serve a purpose specifically to the customer needs. So whether it's us here at Fraser Tools providing a service or a specific place or attraction with travelling to Scotland. Our aim is to provide marketing techniques with your help here today to ensure that we offer an experience for individuals that's different from their travelling everyday life. Things that we'll discuss as well is transportation, so whether it's airport transfers. In regards to our own company, we've actually sourced cars or minivans which are environmentally friendly, they're comfortable, got air conditioning, and they're for smaller intimate groups. At the moment, our main focus is concentrating between 1 to 7 passengers for the intimate travelling experience, but we do have an option too for minibus seating up to 16 passengers, having a luggage area as well. Hopefully with our presentation here today, we can work forward to actually achieving a little bit of a bigger travel group. The accommodation throughout our whole 4-day itinerary is all specifically picked out to ensure that travellers are staying in historical buildings. Then they're also getting local produce from farmers as well, and they get to do traditional dancing and experience that culture while staying in their accommodation. Attractions and activities, so we're including natural wonders from high mountain peaks, forest and wildlife experiences, guided walking tours as well, and visiting areas that are specific to the Outlander TV show, and also making sure that we're sticking to the traditional and the culture of the areas that we're travelling to. Okay, what makes Fraser Tools Outlander experience different to others?
So what makes us different is that we have a very immersive experience with the Outlander TV series, because we involve our tourists and customers with some hands-on elements such as cooking the dishes from the 1700s as well as walking as well. We also give small group tours of 4 to 6 people, which makes it a lot more intimate than just, your busy rush of your higher, larger groups as well. We use local tour guides and historians just to give that more authentic experience, just so that they understand how life was in the 1700s.
And another aspect too in regards to Outlander, I hope you've all seen the show, is the actual Jacobite history as well. So it's very prominent in the show, and it's very prominent in regards to the history of Scotland as well. Okay, Kerry.
Hi, so we'll just go through the itinerary that we have planned for our travellers. As I briefly mentioned it earlier, our aim is to capitalise on that Outlander effect to boost tourism to the lesser known areas of Scotland that are featured in the filming locations. Okay, so day one, we're looking at the tourism in and around Edinburgh. We're visiting some main sites, as in Craigmillar Castle, Midhope Castle and Blackness Castle, all used as various locations of filming Outlander. The afternoon will be a guided walking tour that will then take you around easy to access locations throughout the streets of the old town of Edinburgh. The night will conclude with a meal at the World's End pub, which is also featured in filming of Outlander. Okay, so just here we can see Craigmillar Castle as it is, and how it was when it was being filmed. Again, we have Midhope Castle, portrayed as Lullybrook for the series, Blackness Castle, and a scene from being used as Fort William. Okay, so day 2, we're going to travel from Edinburgh up to Kinlochrannoch, so up through here and into this zone here. On the way there, we'll stop off at Doon Castle, which has been used as Castle Leoch in the filming of the series. And just to point out, like with where Craig Nadan, where she goes through the stones is filmed, there's no actual stones there. They're all polystyrene props for the filming. So what we've done is we found this place here, Linden Farm Circles, where you can do great photographs where you're reenacting going through the stones as Claire did.
Yeah, you can put your hands through the stones the same as she does.
Yeah, okay. So once we're at Lochrannoch, we thought to really get immersed in the feel of Outlander, we're going to conduct an Outlander themed cooking class referring to the Outlander cookbook. It's all meals based on those used during the series. And as well, we can have a Jacobite walking trail, which we are led by our local historian, so we get a good insight into the Jacobite history of that area. Optional tours would be a visit to a local smokery or foraging, and then the evening there concludes with a delicious meal at the Moor of Rannoch, which is again sourced from all natural and locally produced products. Okay, so this is what I was talking about with Linden Farm. This stone here makes a perfect prop for those fantastic photos, and we've got our onboard photographer to help you capture that perfect shot. Okay, so this is what Cream and Done actually does look like.
Okay, so even though our niche area of tourism is screen tourism, we've actually wanted to do a slide that depicts just images as a visual of what other options of travelling you can do with Fraser Tools. So whether it's a photography experience with the landscapes, get involved in the history, dress up, put a kilt on, be part of the locals and a part of that culture there as well. The other opportunities you have is a culinary experience. As Kerry mentioned earlier, there is the Outlander kitchen book, and we've got creating meals as well, as Matilda mentioned, in all the accommodations that we have as well. So,
and just on that, as an added bonus, each traveller with us will be given their own copy of the Outlander kitchen.
Free books. Okay.
Okay, day 3. We're travelling from Kinlochrannoch up into the Cairngorms National Park up to Newton Moor, so you can see the pathway here. And the reason for going there is there's the Highland Folk Museum. This was used on many filming shoots for the series, and it's a great place to experience Highland life in the 1700s. Also not far from there is Rutherford Barracks, which was the retreat where survivors of Culloden retreated to.
Someone's having a break there.
Okay, so while we're at the Highland Folk Museum, we'll be looking at a walking demonstration. This was actually featured in an episode of Outlander, and what it is showing the women sitting around a table, softening the newly woven material and softening it up. There'll also be a supplied picnic, again all supplied from local produce items. The evening will then wind up at the Glen Hotel, and this will be a fun night, being our last night together, where we'll have an evening of live traditional music, dancing and costumes from the 1700s. Okay, so this is what I was referring to with the walking demonstration from the series, and an actual setup that you would get to take part in at the museum.
And should we tell them what they're actually using?
Oh, I don't know if we need to go there. I don't think we'll make them do that. And this is the Highland Herbs tour. It's a small startup business, and it'd be great to support them in their venture and of going through the forest and foraging for herbs, just as Claire did when she was looking to make her natural remedies. And this is Rutherford Barracks, which I mentioned about the Jacobite significance. Okay, day 4. Okay, from Newton Moor we're going to travel down, come back down through here and wind up in Paisley. But before we get there, we're going to stop off at a couple of distilleries. We're going to stop at Edredor Distillery. It's known as one of the oldest distilleries in Scotland, and it's a small family-run business. Then there's Deanston's Distillery, which is again what was used in a location shoot for the series. From there we'll travel on to the Devil's Pulpit. It was known as Liar's Spring in Outlander, and that's where Dougal made Claire drink from the water to prove that she wasn't a witch. And then, as I've mentioned, we'll conclude in Paisley, where you can either go onto the airport or onto your next adventure. Okay, so there's the difference between the two distilleries. We've got the smaller Edredale one here and the larger Deanston one that was used for the filming of Outlander. And that's the beautiful scenery here that we have at the Devil's Pulpit. Thank you.
Okay, thanks Kerry. So obviously with travelling we need to talk about environmental impacts when travelling to these areas. Keeping Scotland Beautiful is an organisation that is running to ensure that it minimises the risk to the environment with travellers travelling there. Okay, so we do have a link on the right hand side of the page. This is the link that we use for all our research in regards to the specific area. As Karen mentioned just before, Devil's Pulpit, where she drinks the water, it's like a truth serum. That's the image that we've got there as well. The main things we need to take the environment into consideration is the air quality. There's lots of transport there at the moment that are causing fuel emissions. Even with our tour buses, that's why we wanted to make sure that we're using vehicles that have low fuel emissions for the air quality as well. And then we're also taking into consideration for infrastructure about cutting down trees and the impact that that will have as well. Conservation, so heritage and habitat. So the area where this specific place is actually surrounded by farms. There's lots of trespassers at the moment who are damaging the heritage and habitats as well. And obviously waste, so minimise the waste and the management to be able to actually implement things like amenities. So as I'll speak about the negative impacts in regards to the waste minimisation and management. Okay, so negative impacts. Obviously with travelling there is always going to be something negative that can occur. So the tourists need to be mindful and respectful to the environment that they're actually travelling in. The damage to the flora and fauna as a result of trespassers, just walking through. The risk to wildlife as well. So rubbish pollution, it can get caught up in animals, they can ingest it as well, and it can be quite serious and harmful to the animals as well, and your wildlife. Okay, pollution too, so land, air and the water. The farmers have noticed from travellers that are actually attending these places passing feces in the middle of the area, as there's no amenities as well. And as you can see with our pictures, we've got tents left in the waterways with the highland cattle and also rubbish there. This is just a logistics in regards to the Devil's Pulpit. As you can clearly see that there are only 2 places to park. So there's a lot of congestion and it is going to be quite harmful and a risk to motorists as well. And the blue line here actually is the track that takes you to the Devil's Pulpit to have those amazing photo opportunities that we want our travellers to have. But as there's no amenities there, there's no walking tracks, it's just stone, so that can propose a risk as well. And also we want to make sure that we get at least some amenities and also some beautiful picnic spots as well, as that would be a great location for a family picnic or a travelling picnic. Okay, economic impacts, supply and demand. We need to make sure here at Fraser Tools that we want to utilise as much as the local businesses as possible. So farmers are suffering at the moment. They have trespassers that are damaging their crops and therefore that's loss of income as well. So we want to make sure with our tours that we're putting income back into the towns from using local produce as well. There's also an opportunity for economy to grow. And that's through creating infrastructure. So the more people that travel there and the more infrastructure we can build, we can assist with builders and volunteers all being a part of that and to work and running the business as well. Okay. How will our tour impact the local community? So we want to involve the locals with the tourists. Yep. We want to have cultural and culinary opportunities and we do that through our day tour, so even travelling to a local market as well. We want to continue education and experiences, not just from the travellers but from the residents as well. And we also want to gain an understanding of the lifestyle, and then that in turn will give us an appreciation for the area that we're travelling to and hopefully meet some new friends. Also, the reason why we want to do smaller intimate groups is because we want to make it on a more personal level, and we'll also make sure that there is less disruption to the locals by having those smaller groups. So as you can see in our picture there, we've got the girls all dressed up ready to go for a cultural experience. Okay, Matilda.
Okay, hi everyone. So I just want to talk briefly about our evaluation methods used by DMOs, such as yourselves. So the main three that I would like to point out today are definitely social media, websites, and tourism sentiment index, which I will touch on later as well. So as you know, DMOs do need to continuously adapt and evolve to the changing trends in the travel and tourism industry, and we also need to keep up to date, not just with the current trends, but also, with our websites, photography, social media, and other things like that. With social media influencing potential travellers these days, target advertising is a thing of the past. So as you know, you'll have someone come through on one of our tours, and they will then express their feelings of their time with us on social media. So word of mouth is very well used nowadays. The next one I would like to talk to you about is, and then websites and tourism sentiment index, which I'd like to just briefly touch over now. So tourism sentiment index is a great tool used for small DMOs such as ourselves. We are a family-owned business, as you know. So DMOs that are struggling to keep tourists coming to their destination, we used AI technology to scan and categorise any conversation image as specific words relating to our particular destination, and then it classifies them into tourism categories such as your screen tourism, culture tourism, and so on. Once categorised, the TSI will use a formula based off positive, neutral or negative feedback to finalise a score. Once analysis is complete, the TSI gives the results of how people feel about 50 different experiences and services in that destination. So what it does essentially is give us, the DMOs, an understanding of what people are saying about our destination and what we could improve on, which I will touch on again later. But firstly, I would like to talk about websites.
Okay, and because we've got you here today as well, that Tourism Sentiment Index is going to be a great database for helping each other to achieve our aim.
So websites. Inviting websites is the biggest thing when inviting tourists into your destination. This is their starting point. This is where they start to research. So with the Faroe Islands, which is a small set of islands off the coast of Iceland and Norway, they don't get a lot of media attention, and they strictly rely on their website, which has a lot of inviting pictures, as well as their own Sheet View 360, which they've implemented due to a lack of maps, Google Maps.
What sheet views?
Sheet View 360?
Yeah, if you can explain that
so
to the DMOs.
Sorry.
Great.
So Sheet View 360 is essentially just a 360 camera sitting on a sheep, and then the sheep runs off into the islands. So to give you that full experience of what is on the islands in the form of a sheep.
Advanced technology.
So if we do compare the Faroe Islands website on our left, just to the Edinburgh website, sorry Terry, to our right, the difference here is that it's only got one picture at the top, and then uses a travel guide in simplistic pictures at the bottom, without using pictures that are in that area itself, which I find lacks, the invitation and the invitingness of for tourists and customers alike.
We want it to be clear and concise, so we'll actually need your help as well at Fraser Tools. The reason why we've got this up, we know that it's not Scotland in our location, but that's our ideal website. We want it simple, visual, clear and concise, and easy for travellers to use as well.
So offering a high quality services to our future customers. So we do like to send out emails to our past customers just to get a bit of an understanding of their experience with us. This does help us improve on what we already offer, but also helps us know what we are already doing well as well. So this is a brief happy to sad 1 to 5 star rating, and it works really effectively. We don't ask a lot of questions, we don't need descriptive answers, just a simple excellent or poor, just so the customer can just tap it and move on. But that also gives us a very in-depth of understanding of what we do need to improve on.
So like a rating system as well, and then that's where we'll also need your help in areas that we can improve on and things that we don't need to improve on, but there's always improvement. Okay, so thank you for your time and coming out this evening to be able to watch our presentation in regards to Scotland and the Outlander experience. We appreciate any feedback. We are available for questions as well after this presentation. We all have business cards as well, so there is another option if you wanted to send us an email or give us a call to provide any feedback about our presentation, or if you have any specific questions, we're more than happy to accommodate and answer those for you. So we hope that you enjoyed and got a bit of an insight to the Outlander experience. I know that we all enjoyed presenting to you tonight, and happy travels, and hope to see you travelling with Fraser Tools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye. Thanks, Kerry.
Thanks, Carrie.
Didn't die that time.